Hello and welcome to Prenteg in Gwynedd. I'm going to be going that sort of way on one of my favourite lanes and be telling you about a really interesting place which you could actually stay in, believe it. So as I was saying before I jumped aboard, this is Prenteg. We're going to be going down a lovely little lane. It's in two parts. It's the B4410 here. You're going to enjoy this for a number of different reasons perhaps. So partly this is going to be a bit of a touristy thing, and partly I'll tell you all about a really unique little cottage. This is the Glaslyn Osprey Centre. It's closed up at the moment, as you can see, and sometimes you can see the Osprey around. Here we have the Welsh Highland Railway level crossing. Behind us goes to Porthmadog. Forward is going all the way to Carnarvon. I really recommend it. It's a lovely little narrow gauge railway. You change at Porthmadog and you can then go all the way to Blaenau. So this first part is very quick and it's fine, you know, you can open it up. However, when you get to the farm, be careful because sometimes there's a fair bit of muck on the road. Now if I planned this properly and been a professional, I'd have timed my trip so you could just see a train. I am not professional, as you know, and to be quite honest with you, until this morning I didn't know I was even going to come out. So, tough. It's a beautiful day in January 2025. This road has been mentioned before in Adventure Bike Rider, and I think in Bike Magazine a few years ago, as being a really good bike ride. They're not too far wrong. Yeah, even then it's very easy to be exceeding the limits. So this is very nice, and we're going to turn left here. Yes, we're going towards the Festiniog Railway and the Tannerboch station. That's not what we're going to see, but that's the direction we're going. So then you're wondering, enough of this touristy malarkey, what is Graham on about? Right, so it all starts with the Festiniog Railway, funnily enough. One of the management team said that they wanted Cottage and they wanted access to the railway. Now, because they were management, they got what they wanted, didn't they? So the little cottage was built. Was a station put there? Well, of course not, because they don't want the hoi polloi there. Yeah, let's face it, who wants these bloody tourists knocking around? Although they weren't tourists in those days, were they? They were, in those days, slate quarry workers. And as a manager of the railway, they don't want any grubby, slate-ridden, filthy labourers. They want their peace and quiet. I tell you what, that is slippery out here today. That was just a little nidgery. Yeah, little nidgery. That's a good description, that, isn't it? So the cottage was built. He's got his private supply. There's a little muck on this. I was hoping it was going to be a bit better, actually. Anyway, so yeah, so he had his private cottage built, and all was really well and good. Move on a few years and people live there. And this is where it gets interesting. Now, let's take it, we were talking the early part of the 20th century here. I'm going to ignore the very lovely people that have lived there post this and pre this, okay? The main meat of the story is really some of this 20th century malarkey. And this is where some myth comes in, some legend comes in, and you've got to take some of what I'm saying with a bit of a pinch of salt. Some of it is definitely true, and I will be fair. So then, at one point, this house was rented out to a chap by the name of a Mr. Philby. And you may remember that name being in the news recently. He was indeed the father of Kim Philby, the famous spy. And Kim Philby spent some happy times as a child in the cottage. Amazing, you think? There we have this privileged young chap living in a beautiful part of the world with effectively a private railway station, miles away from roads. There's no roads going to it or anything like that. It's the ideal ground to betray your country. Well, it isn't. Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the world, but he did. So who can believe that this cottage in the middle of nowhere is where Kim Philby used to live? But then it takes a twist.
Philby developed an interest in other things, and he developed more right-wing affiliations. By right-wing, I mean far right-wing, as you're about to find out.
Now, when you're friends with a chap called Oswald Mosley, cool, I don't know if you can see the view over to the right, it's beautiful. But if you're friends with Oswald Mosley, it probably stands to reason that you have tendencies, should we say, to the far right. So, one hand we've got Philby. On the other hand, we've got this friend of Mosley. Did Mosley ever go there? Possibly, possibly not. I'm not going to say. I don't know. But local rumours, I've heard, have been as follows. At one time, or a few times, Lord Haw-Haw, the famous Irishman who tried to send Nazi propaganda across to the UK, visited there. Whether this is true or not is disputed. The people that currently own the property are quite vehement, saying no, it never happened. But local legend says it did. And this is where legends can get fanciful or not true or whatever. But we've got to remember, Adolf Hitler's brother lived over in Liverpool, which isn't that far away.
So although highly improbable, it's not impossible that Hitler has even visited there.
So we've got a house, totally middle of nowhere, lovely little beautiful place. It's been home to communist sympathisers and spies, been home to fascists, all in the space of a few decades. Unbelievable. Now, like I say, I can't say for sure, and I'm taking a few leaps of faith here as to whether or not Mosley did. Lord Haw-Haw and Adolf came here, but not being funny about all this, I'm not trying to take the mickey. If local rumours are there, there's a good chance it's true.
Or complete and utter codswallop.
Despite what official people might say, I'm still going to say The rumours might be true. So how do you get to it? Well, you go up there, maybe to the station, but you wouldn't be allowed to. So what you'd have to do is come down here. You can park your car, it's 120 metres down here. And then it's a public footpath. Up.
Let's just turn back and we'll pop back to that car park. Nice lake on the left, isn't it?
Let's just pull in here. Oh, that's ideal. Bonza. Yes, so this is a lovely part of the world, isn't it? Beautiful bit of water. It's a lovely place. I really like it. So it's a little cottage in the woods
Called Cottage.
Now I'm going to now cut to, this is beautiful, isn't it? It's absolutely stunning. I'm now going to cut to a shot now, seeing the cottage on the train. So Cottage, it's up there. Can you imagine? It's had a famous composer, it's had Soviet spies, it's had a traitor, William Joyce, Lord Warhol.
Supporters of Mosley back in the 30s.
Although some people say it wasn't, some other people say he was. You know, when you've got that kind of background, who'd say there weren't other more illustrious people? We know Adolf Hitler had a brother in Liverpool. What's to say he didn't go up there as well for some plotting with some of the right-wing people? It's quite a thought, isn't it? I'll tell you what, that bike looks quite nice here, doesn't it? I like that too. Very pretty. Well, if you found this interesting, why don't you like, subscribe and all that malarkey and join me on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.